Xfinity XFi is more than just fast. It's internet that gives you peace of mind security. Because if it's connected, it's protected. Yeah, even your robot vacuum. Can your internet do that? Learn more at xfinity.com/xfi.
Happy New Year! Thanks for tuning in to Old Men Yell at Cloud, a bold choice for the new decade. Holy crap, this is Barry, joined by Brown.
Hey.
And Schultz.
Hi.
And, holy crap. How you guys doing?
Same.
Happy New Year.
Same as the last decade?
I'm going to try to not be fat this year. That's going to last about a week.
You see, I'm gonna just go fucking let
gonna
myself
get
go.
really fat.
I'm just gonna get like really, 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 really fat.
You're just going to go into the Elvis phase. Yeah.
Yep. Just gonna eat nothing but peanut butter and just kill myself with my own constipation. We're joined by a very special guest today from local Lowell folk rock band, The Only Humans. We got Tim Howd.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining our madness
In the smell cave.
in the smell cave. Yes,
Is it still the smell cave? I thought we changed the name.
Yeah, it's the olfactory.
or it's the olfactory.
Yes.
So
right?
I just put 2 and 2 because I'm a stupid idiot and realized we played a show with him.
Yeah.
And I've met you before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, were
Hey,
you
it
in
happens.
smell? Were you in
Yeah,
smell
I was
for that?
the drummer.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Where was that show?
That was O'Brien's, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't remember you. There were like 80 people in
No,
smell that
it's
night.
there really was. I don't even remember who's in the band. I mean, we played a show at once in Somerville, and I was like, who's this new guy?
Oh, you mean Nate?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I know
Who
it
was, okay, because I was going to say he was on the show prior to, to playing.
He was also on the show. Yeah, if you've met a person in real life, they were probably on the show at some point.
Yeah, our pool is not deep, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what the hell are we doing? We're doing a music podcast. I'm sure we don't have to.
That's how it started out. But
I think that's what we do.
I think we have to talk about McDonald's or something for a little bit.
I actually I went to Burger King on the way here today. I'm not proud of it, but that's what I did. I'm not proud of it for 2 reasons. First off, because I went to a fast food place, and that's nothing to be proud of.
Right.
But second off, because I went there and not McDonald's. And it was because it was more on the way.
Wait, so which one did you stop at?
I stopped at the one in Londonderry, right at
Okay.
exit 4, by the Cracker Barrel. And yeah, I told you guys, the dog kept me up all night, so I ended up getting like 5 hours of sleep total. And
Good doggy.
Yeah, so I basically showered and rolled out of the house and needed something to eat. And God, I wish I didn't do it.
Yeah,
You
that's
got
how
a
it
Whopper
goes.
and some onion rings, I hope.
No, I got like edible foods for driving, so I got nugs and fries.
Oh, right,
like a
yeah.
goddamn child.
It's probably good that happens, though, because I'm at the point in my life where I want Burger King all the time. Like, just all the time. But,
Why? Burger King is definitely inferior to other fast food places.
I love Burger King. The Whopper is my jam. But I remember how I
feel that.
feel after I eat it, and it's literally like a fight in my mind on the way to the Burger King. Like, do I really want to do this? I'm going to feel awful 20 minutes after eating it, and I'm like, nope, I'm doing it. But that doesn't happen as often as it would if I didn't have that feeling. You know what I mean? I'd be eating Burger King like every day.
Tim, what was the last time you had fast food?
Actually, a very, very long while.
Good.
I can't remember the last time I had fast food. I've been good.
He's too healthy for this show.
Yeah, no, I definitely
look bad.
I definitely have this thing where I just like everything you read is like it's harder to keep it off the older you get. And I started to recognize my age in the calendar, and I said, I have the same thing as you, Chris, where I have that fight where I'm like, I'm gonna hate myself after having this.
Yeah.
I just managed to win it a little bit more than I used to.
Yes, you're a grown up. In other words, you listen to the adult voice, not the kid voice.
But here's the thing.
I want Burger King. I want Burger King.
Here's the thing, though. Like, full disclosure, I don't have fast food, but then when I'm hanging out with my friends or whatever, and we're like, hey, let's, we order food, then I'm like, I'll get, a salmon salad, which is nice, and then like 5 pounds of sweet potato fries, and I'll have the whole thing. And I'm like, it's sweet potato fries, so it's healthy, and it's not fast food, so it's healthy, but it is worse than if I had just had 5 Whoppers to begin with.
Right. It's the same amount of calories. You're still eating a large mass of food, putting a lot of starch in your tummy. Oof. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, tying back into music, which I believe is what we do on this podcast.
At one point.
We actually just got done listening to Tim, because I picked that because our guest is named Tim.
The marketing sells itself.
Yes, absolutely. Tim is the 4th studio album by American alternative rock band The Replacements. It was released in October 1985 on Sire Records. It was their first major label release and also the last album made by the original lineup of the band. Guitarist Bob Stinson was kicked out of the band towards the end of 1986 and passed away sometime in 1995. Stylistically, the album shows Pauly Westerberg's diverse influences, including Alex Chilton's Big Star on songs like Hold My Life, Roy Orbison and Duane Eddy on songs like Swingin' Party, and Nick Lowe on songs like Kiss Me on the Bus. Like its predecessor, Let It Be, not to be confused with the Beatles album.
Kiss me on the butt.
Kiss Me on the Butt.
That's
That
the
was the
kind of
Nick Lowe
humor
song.
that we've matured into in the year 2020.
Like its predecessor, Let It Be, Tim was highly praised by critics upon its release. The album is frequently included on professional lists of the all-time best rock albums, for whatever that means. Tim was ranked at number 4 in Alternative Press's lists of the top 99 albums of 1985 through 1995. Along with their previous album, Let It Be, Tim received 5 out of 5 stars on AllMusic. So I picked this album because it's not really one that I would associate stylistically with things that I typically enjoy, but it's one that I think is kind of historically an important record, and I do enjoy this this style of music from time to time, this sort of like 80s college rock shit. I definitely have a fascination for that culture and a lot of records that kind of came out around that time. So I thought it would be kind of a fun pick to do rather than like my typical fucking like dad rock, prog rock, grunge records that I'll usually do. Kind of start the decade off with something a little different. So let's go around the horn and talk about our favorite songs. Christopher, what's your favorite song?
So I'm going to give a little spoiler word up front. This album is a second for me on the show. And by that, I mean it is the second album that I ordered on Amazon while we listened to it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I fucking love this album. This is
Wow.
great. I've never heard it before, and I was really fucking into it. So there were several songs that were up for contention for me, but Left of the Dial was going to get the vote in the end.
Read about your band in some local page. Didn't mention it. Didn't mention it. The sweet Georgia breezes, safe, cool, and warm. Hey, let it know. Let it know. On and on and on and on. That's how we rock.
Yeah, that's a great fucking song.
I wrote 2 notes for it. Great song all around, followed by fuck ye.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck ye.
Yeah, that was one of the tracks that Alex Chilton, I think, did some production on as well, which is funny. They have a song called Alex Chilton on the next album. That's very good.
And I'm assuming the phrase "left of the dial" referring to like indie stations and stuff did that exist before this, or is this kind of what coined it?
No, that's what it's referring to. It's sort of talking about like the college rock stations tend to be,
Right, I get
in
that,
the
but
88s
is
and
this the origin of the phrase, or did it predate the song?
That I do not know.
Because I know it's the name of when I worked for Tivoli Audio doing retail way back when, and had the Sirius Radio. Their channel was called Left of Center, and that was like one of 2 channels I listened to on it.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that, but I will I'll research that and get back to you.
Yeah, we'll have to do some research.
All right, I'll go down to the lab and jostle some beakers.
I'll go to the library, pull out the book that opens the secret door, and then go down into the cave.
Yeah, light my Bunsen burners and.
That was like literally a thing that I did in Dungeons and Dragons yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I played some D&D yesterday. It
Nice.
was a book.
I didn't know
Yeah,
you
to
played.
open a book on a shelf to go in.
Well, actually, the book went into the fire, and then the book turned into a giant flaming skull. So almost the same thing.
Also, it didn't happen per se.
It's true.
Oh no, if it happens in Dungeons and Dragons, it happens in real life. I think that's how it goes.
I thought it was if it happens in Dungeons and Dragons, it stays in Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, that too. Some weird shit has gone on.
Comedy bronze. Jim, what do you?
Yeah, what's your favorite song?
My favorite song. I'm gonna go with "Swingin' Party."
Your own lampshade, somewhere there's a party. Here it's never ending, can't remember when it started. Pass around the lampshade, they'll be planning out a room in jail. If being wrong's a crime, I'm certain.
I liked the vocal melody. I really liked what the bassist was doing. And I feel like the lyrical content was actually pretty cool. So that was the only one where like all of those things really came together for me. And I just
Yeah.
I really dug the bass on that, and he had a little smacking of Robert Smith on the vocals.
I called this one the Bowie song. It reminded me of the David Bowie song.
For sure. And, you commented on the lyrics, and Paul Westerberg is he's a pretty clever lyricist. He writes some fun stuff here and there, and that song in particular is very, very well crafted. I would say it's very nice like chord progression, and like the bass is doing some nice melodic stuff. Good old Tommy Stinson, who is now in Guns N' Roses.
Sure is.
There's a line in the song. I think there's like the first line about like bring your own lampshade or something. I love that. That was a really clever way to introduce the party, I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe of like, what is it like? You see those like old pictures of like the drunk guy wearing the lampshade on his head or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what that's referring to.
One time my brother and I were driving on 93 South, headed up to Boston from wherever. And we passed a guy on the highway who was driving this old beaten up car that was filled with lampshades, like more lampshades than your average person. I'm assuming he was some sort of like lampshade retailer or something, or small business owner who dealt in lampshades.
He does door-to-door lampshade sales.
Lampshades and helium-filled balloons. Those were the contents of this man's car. Lampshades and balloons.
Cornering those markets, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta find the hole in the market and fill it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since it was in 93 South, was it like one of those things? One of my favorite things about every business in Massachusetts is it's like the official blank of the Boston Red Sox. So like he could have been like the official lampshades and helium balloons of the Boston Red Sox. And it's like, well, I'm sure they have some use for that, but like there's a official carpet steamer that I forget his name.
Is it Stanley?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, and
Stanley
it's just
Steamer gets carpets cleaner.
Yeah, and don't forget Johnny Pesky and whoever, the window boys.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I know they have use for these things, but maybe like the baseball bats. Those are the people who I want to hear the official baseball bats of the Red Sox. But
I think you bring up a really good point though, because the Red Sox I think are leaving money on the table by not having official other things like combo businesses. For example, in Lynn, for a long time when I was growing up, when it was a thing, there was a combination video rental store and tax preparation service. Under one roof, one door, you go in, you have both done. And there currently in Revere is a restaurant called China Roma, which is the only Italian-Chinese restaurant that I know of.
Oh, that's so good.
Yes,
I love
it's
that.
very good. And like, they could be the official Chinese-Italian
That
restaurant.
place must smell so strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's too... It could
Marinara sauce and soy sauce.
Could be two great tastes that taste great together.
I don't know.
A lot of noodles.
Only way you can find out
A
is
lot
to
of
try
carbs
it.
in there.
Yeah. Sweet. Tim. Tim, what was your favorite song on Tim?
My favorite song on Tim was also Left of the Dial.
Hell yeah.
My note here was, I said great opening, great snare drum, and then finally ... dynamics. And that's not an indictment of the rest of the songs, because it's a style to, like, the kind of alternative rock style, to not have necessarily a complete dynamic range in every song,
right.
But it is definitely something that caught my attention and captured me for the entirety of the song. So
Yeah, I think the dynamics were definitely something that made that song a lot stronger and made it stand out for sure.
I actually made a note of something similar, but I gave Dose of Thunder credit for being the first song with some dynamics to it.
Oh, all right,
But yeah, no, I'm with you on that. That there's not a ton of dynamics on here, but yeah, not.
I called that one the Motley Crue song.
I was gonna say Dose of Thunder was definitely a fucking Motley Crue like parody / send off for sure. So my favorite track is gonna be Bastards of Young.
We are the sons of no one, bastards of young. We are the sons of no one, bastards of young. The daughters and the sons. Clean your baby room, trash their baby room. Elvis in the ground, no way, no fear.
That was my runner-up.
That was it until we got to Left of the Dial. For me.
It was a toss-up.
It was
for
up
me.
there for me too. Yeah.
It was a toss-up between those two for me. But yeah, I think Bastards of Young is probably my favorite punk rock adjacent song of all time. It's just that guitar riff is so fucking anthemic and catchy, and like the choruses kind of do this thing that mocks the guitar line. It's like it's doing all those things that I've heard as elements in other punk and like other punk songs, but for some reason it just like really all stands out really nicely and well done to me. And there's like clever lyrics all over. There's like something about the ones who love us least are the ones we die to please, or something like that. Just like super fucking great lyrics, murky beer soaked production, like just all that great stuff that I loved about this record, all happening on that song.
Light spoiler again. Have you ever heard the Buzzcocks?
Oh yeah.
Their album Singles Going Steady. It's just a collection of all their non-album singles.
Oh yeah. No, I've listened to that before.
Yeah. No, just because that would be right up your alley if you're into this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would put them like kind of in the same category for sure.
Also, the ending to Bastards of Young, I just wrote, where did that come from? It was awesome.
It's so weird. Yeah, but they do that like the triplet beat, and they just starts like yelling about Detroit or something.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. It was like the song, like I said, that was awesome. My runner-up song. The song was like great, and then it just had this like they didn't need that, but putting it in there was just made it so much cooler.
Yeah, it's like it's like a random E flat chord too. It's like something that like is not in key with the rest of the song.
You know what we can call that from henceforth is the Across the Sea moment. Because in Across the Sea by Weezer, most of it is kind of a creepy song about an 18-year-old girl from Japan. But randomly in the middle of it, he has this tirade against the music industry.
Yeah, gotta break
it actually makes it better.
Fucking Rivers Cuomo.
Oh yeah, he still has PTSD from the last Weezer session. Ooh, all right,
man. I should buy the Green album on vinyl because it's such a fucking awful album, and just make you listen to it.
I'd probably love it. That's the funny thing.
Oh no, make him listen to Make Believe.
Oh Jesus, I couldn't do that.
Wait, that one's Beverly
Hills.
That's the one with Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
That's the one that
We Are All on Drugs.
yeah, Rick Rubin like kind of was there, but I think he just gave up at one point.
Well, Rick Rubin as a producer is, I'm going to show up for an hour, see what you did for the last week, and I'll see you next week.
And just make it louder.
This has nothing to do with what we're here to discuss, but my favorite moment in music history is when the guy who played Hurley on Lost did like a live karaoke cover of Perfect Situation from Make Believe.
Oh, Jesus. I feel bad for Jorge Garcia because I think that he's immortalized now. He is forever, his face is the cover of a Weezer album for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hurley. Of
Yeah,
course.
that's right. Hurley. That's one of those ones they stuck in there.
Oh yeah, they have
love doing that.
like their big releases every so often, and then there's just like Weezer albums that they just hand out in the parking lot.
There's a few sneaky albums in there.
There really are. There was like a white album at one point. I think they have a black album too.
There's a black album. I think that one's coming out, forthcoming. But yeah, then there was like Ratitude and Hurley and Death to False Metal. Like, what the hell are these?
I know, what the hell? I feel like there was was there like a Lil Bub album at some point, or I just make that up?
That would be so good if they
Big
just
Chungus.
Yeah, they just acknowledged it and just started naming their albums after memes.
Christopher, what was your least favorite?
Oh, did you say your favorite?
I did Bastards of Young.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that for quite some time. If I'm having trouble keeping up with the conversation, feel free to just poke me.
Oh, I will.
My least favorite is going to be I'll Buy.
Cruising in the sunshine, been to bed. I can hear the motor whistling, something's awful wrong again. Hey, give my regards to Broadway, tell 'em I got change to spend. One big buck, gonna have to suck up here.
In that one, my only note for it was just
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't really do a whole lot for me. Obviously, derivative. The lyrics were fun, but I don't think it was enough of an excuse to kind of have the song out there. If this were a 10-song album, I probably would have given it a point higher on my ultimate rating.
Yeah. I like the part at the end where there's a bicycle horn. That's about it. That's the only thing I like about that song.
Again, it's like we're being forced to talk about Weezer again.
Yes. Why? Because Rivers is a big fan of bike horns at the end of songs? Or just throwing in moments that completely throw you off?
I could see him just being into bike horns.
Really into them.
Yeah, he's a bike horn enthusiast. He has a collection that is in the dozens.
Yeah. It's on his rider that he needs one.
Like he
at
puts
every
it up his
concert.
ass and clenches and it goes honk, like that. That kind of into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's what he does is these Kegels with. Or Kegels, or however the hell you say it.
I've heard it both ways.
Jim, what was your least favorite?
I'm going to go with Kiss Me on the Bus.
On the bus, that's where we're riding. On the bus, okay, don't say hi then. Your tongue, your transfer, your hand, your answer. On the bus, everyone's looking forward. On the bus.
You were gonna say butt again.
It crossed my mind.
Oh God.
Kiss
Wait
me
a minute.
on the butt.
Sorry, I called you Chris.
It's okay.
You're Jim. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't think he took offense.
No, leave.
Yeah, but I'm gonna feel bad about it all day.
You're gonna have to feel bad about it for eternity because it's gonna be on the internet forever. Unless he
I
edits
mixed
it.
up 3 white guys in their 3 white guy names.
Wait a second. No, because we can edit it. So wait a second.
Yeah.
Jim, just take that. And just put it over.
I like it. That was very good. I'm going to use that.
How about if Jim? Can you use that one instead?
Mr. Black.
Also, full disclosure, I did think this was a podcast about The Simpsons, so that's why I agreed to show up.
Eventually, every podcast turns to a podcast about The Simpsons.
Yeah. That was my least favorite because I thought it was stupid.
Again, I'm going to have to call bullshit on that and just ask you to explain yourself a little bit.
I don't know.
I'll just say something
talking
stupid.
about kissing on the bus. It was just very like boring and not very fun.
You sound like the kind of person who has never shared a romantic, intimate moment on a bus.
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, okay. Well, get yourself on the 66 and see what happens.
Ooh.
I could help
Throw
out.
up in each other's mouths, yeah.
I think I can help out here a little bit, because it was my runner-up for least favorite. It reminded me of one of those songs when a band that doesn't know how to play an acoustic like love ballad is asked to write an acoustic love ballad, and that's their attempt at doing it. So rather than actually adopting a new style, they just do a more lethargic version of what they normally do. That's how it felt to me.
Tim, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite was Lay It Down Clown. My bullet points here are in all caps Meatloaf, followed by 3 exclamation points plus Aerosmith.
You have really nice handwriting.
Thank you.
That's the kind of thing you hear when it's like the last thing you will ever hear when before being killed. That
No,
like,
it is.
You got a real nice
Look at mine.
handwriting.
Mine looks like a fucking third grader wrote it.
Yeah, but it's done on a tablet, and also a really nice drawing there.
The only way you could have made that any creepier, Jim, is if you told him like he had a real pretty mouth.
I would take that as a compliment. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm just going to look at Tim's mouth for the rest of this.
That's fine. I'd like to know if I do have that.
I've seen worse.
My other bullet point was Dad Rock Bar Band, and my third bullet point in all caps just says clown, clown, clown. Personally, I have trouble like extracting my experience. This is the first time I've ever heard this album, so I'm having trouble extracting my experience from the time period in which it was written. I'm experiencing it in 2019.
Right.
So when you write a tune where the antagonist is identified as a clown, it definitely is like I can picture myself like coming home, like after a kid was mean to me at school when I was like 5, and my dad being like, well, that kid's just a clown. And me thinking that was lame, Dad. You
No,
know?
you see, I actually enjoy the word clown as an insult. I think it's
too.
criminally underrated.
Clown and donkey.
Yeah,
I love
I
calling
say
people
both of
donkeys.
those.
Oh,
pretty
no,
frequently.
don't get me wrong. I use clown, but in the context of this song, it doesn't have the aggression that I think they were going for.
Right. It's like you wanted it. You wanted it to be a little nastier, and clown just seems a little soft.
I was just. This is unrelated, but I was just listening to Ani DeFranco on the way here, and I'm like, my other thought was, I think they could have used a different C word, and I would have it wouldn't have rhymed with down, but
Lay it, bunt.
Oh yeah, we can't say that C word. We'll get canceled.
Cunt.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Can I leave now?
My note on Lay It Down Clown was this is the Ramones song.
Yeah, I could see that too. So Lay It Down Clown was my least favorite as well. And my one note for it was it's just a bit too much. I think where this is like the replacements are definitely kind of, for me, like they're a raucous sort of punk adjacent alternative band that managed to learn how to write some like really hooky songs and like actually kind of start to dip their toes in sincere songwriting. And this one just kind of reminded me a bit too much of like something that would be on fucking Hootenanny. It just didn't really do it for me.
it has like the keyboard, like what is it called? Like you just like scrape down all the keys.
Oh, the glissando. So that part's kind of fun actually. That was a welcome moment. But other than that,
That's what that's called.
Glissando. Yeah.
Glissando.
I like that. Yeah,
I learn a lot on this show.
I'm there for all of those, but that's when the meatloaf note came up.
Yeah, exactly.
The more technical name for it is a many notes dervish.
That sounds like a food. A dervish.
A many notes dervish.
Oh, we're serving dervish tonight.
No, dervishes are the twirling dervishes in Turkey. The Muslims who it's like a sect of Islam in Turkey.
Is that correct, or are you going to have to edit that?
I also like turkey.
No, it is correct. You can look that up.
My MVP moment for this album is going to be, it was between two guitar solos, which is pretty fucking uncharacteristic for me, but I'm going to go with the lead harmonies on Bastards of Young. Just that was a nice little chef's kiss of the anus, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, just like simple, but the melody is
Simple, but
smooch, smoochy. Cool.
And should I say that's for Emily?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
She can't be mad at you. She can only be mad at me.
Okay.
She'll take it out on me.
Yeah, Jim passed me a note that said I should say it's for Emily.
You son of a bitch.
I thought it was poop talk that bothered her.
Oh, everything bothers her. The whole show bothers her. Every night she's like, before we go to bed, she's like, good night, I love you. So when are you going to stop doing that show?
That would be incredible if that was true.
No, she doesn't say she loves you. She just skips right
She
to.
just rolls over and goes to sleep in another room.
Jim, what was your MVP moment?
My MVP moment, I'm going to go with the bass part and Hold My Life.
Time for a decision to be made. Wrapped up in the sun, rooted in the shade. Razzle dazzle, razzle thrown. Time for this one to come home. Razzle dazzle, razzle die. Time for this one, come alive and go.
Yeah, that's a great song
good,
too.
Good, solid bass part. Yeah, I like that song. That song reminded me of every one of these songs. I had a note of what it reminded me of, and this one was the song "Plowed" by Sponge.
Oh, weird. I never would have thought that, but I can hear it now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that I was thinking about. Apparently, Michael Stipe and Kurt Cobain were supposed to collaborate right around the time that Kurt Cobain killed himself. He was actually supposed to be traveling to Atlanta to work with Stipe and what have you. And this is the sort of thing that I could imagine that sort of collaboration would have resulted in.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And we were kind of talking about how you could hear elements of Westerberg's voice definitely influenced Cobain, and quite a even lesser tier alt rock acts of the '90s, like your Gin Blossoms and Goo Goo Dolls, and you can definitely hear a bit of that that like strained vocal approach on a lot of those types of bands and the sort of like jangly alt rockness of it.
Oh, sorry to sidetrack again, but Jim, you were just talking about Sponge. They're playing at Tupelo Music Hall around the corner from me.
Really?
Within like the next month or two, yeah. So
We're gonna go.
So I have seen Sponge live this decade. I saw them in 2013, and it was sad because
Well, I mean,
the singer is the only one left who's an actual original founding member of the band, and he doesn't realize that it's not 1994 anymore.
Did they really have any other hits besides Plowed? And Plowed was only famous because of Empire Records, right?
Loud, 16 Candles,
Wax Ecstatic.
Wax Ecstatic,
Yeah, that came out. That was like 95, 96.
Yeah, that was 96. Yeah, because
playing
they
a
had
lot.
two off of was that Rotting Pinata, and then they had Wax Ecstatic off the next album.
I think that's the best one. That's the best thing.
Wax Ecstatic's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's actually a really fucking killer guitar riff in that
it
song.
is. Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Sponge Talk, your one-stop source for all things Sponge.
Sponge baths.
I am lead singer of Sponge.
I'm looking.
Vinny Dombrowski. Vinny Dombrowski is his name.
Is he?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's he up to these days?
He's playing Tupelo Music Hall in the next month.
Now, is that a small venue, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we saw Everclear there in July.
Tim, what's your MVP moment?
My I've kind of got two.
Cool.
So I actually haven't listened to the Replacements at all before. I recently, within the past like 3 or 4 months, got Let It Be, because all of my favorite singers and singer-songwriters all say, like, when they're like top albums, Let It Be is always there. And I mean, Let It Be is everywhere. I just never listened to it. It's just not something I came across. I just haven't gotten around to listening to it because I buy music by the pound.
Right.
But so I had like an impression of what I thought the Replacements sounded like. And I didn't hear that on side A. And then side B, the opening to Bastards of Young. Just like blew the doors open. I was like, this is what I thought I was going to be hearing.
Right.
So that stuck with me. That hit me really hard. So that would have been my MVP moment. But because I mean, I come from like all my music background and like my music tastes are more like in terms of like songwriting, like lyricists and stuff. And Here Comes a Regular, they did one of my favorite things that is that a lot of bands aren't courageous enough to do, which is they had established a chorus that was kind of a sing-along-y chorus, and they didn't end the song with it. They ended the song with a verse or like a bridge or whatever, and they didn't return to the chorus, and they just let the song finish because that's where the song needed to finish. So kind of like 11th hour, bit of an MVP moment for me there.
Yeah, that's you don't see that enough. They don't play it live often anymore, but whenever they do play High and Dry live, Radiohead cuts the last chorus. No.
Oh, okay.
Because that's something that like basically as soon as the album was like off to mastering, they're like, oh shit. But yeah, so like live, that has always been missing the last chorus, which I think would make for a better song. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to think about that next time I listen to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to arrange something. A good example of subtracting something to make your arrangement a bit stronger.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
kind of a less is more guy with choruses. Like I think that you really don't need more than two, and you definitely don't need to be like doubling them up or anything like that.
I don't do more than two a lot of times when I'm writing, or anything. It's like I'll do like an A B C B C or something like that.
I have a very hard time writing a chorus. I mean, the whole like thing with a chorus is that if it's repeated, it's got to be bigger the second time.
Right.
And I feel like that doesn't happen a lot, or as much as it should in proper songwriting. So if my songs have a quote unquote chorus, it's usually just like different chords where there would be a chorus, except I'm not going to repeat these same 4 lines. I'm going to do a different 4 lines later on in the song.
Right, exactly.
Deacon and I have a nearly finished song on my hard drive that we recorded in like 2010, 2011, where the conceit was it was going to start with a full arrangement and then just slowly drift off to just acoustic guitar and vocals. And yeah, so we had like a huge arrangement on it, and then like started stripping everything away. So it had like upright bass, like horns, strings, and shit like that, and then everything just sucked out, and it was
Down to hand claps.
It was a
and
cool
whistles.
song. Yeah, it's one that I hope he'll want me to mix and put out there at some point.
There's a song that Springsteen does on.
Patrick's getting excited over there.
Wait, serious or no?
No, seriously. I randomly got very into Bruce Springsteen this past year.
Yeah.
No, importantly, Patrick made a joke saying, I turned 35 now, guess I have to like Springsteen, and listen to Springsteen as a joke, and then unironically really liked it.
So I never listened to. I actually didn't know I've never heard a Bruce Springsteen song all the way through in my entire life. The only Bruce Springsteen song I knew was Thunder Road from a cover by Frank Turner, and I didn't even realize it was Bruce Springsteen's song.
Right.
Then his autobiography came out, and I read autobiographies of musicians indiscriminately, whether I've listened to them or not. And that's when I started getting into Bruce Springsteen. But But on Darkness on the Edge of Town, he's got the song Racing in the Street, which he does what you described to powerful effect, where it comes in with the full band and it sounds like a rock song. And then maybe by after the first chorus or after the first verse, it all just kind of fades out. And the rest of the song is just him and a piano.
That's awesome.
And they've got like, on one of his like B-side collections, you can hear the original version where it's just the full band all the way through. It's a cool song, but there's something very affecting about the fact that they just chose to have the official release version be like full band Bruce Springsteen rock and roll song. Is like, nope, I'm just gonna sing it like a ballad for the rest of it. It was very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Patrick, are you gonna watch that movie? What the hell's it
Blinded
called?
by the Light.
Yeah.
It's on my Redbox list.
I do want to check that out.
Is this like a Bohemian Rhapsody style?
No,
biopic?
so
I
it's
hope
about
not.
it's about like this Middle Eastern kid who like is like he ends up like
Oh,
being
yeah.
obsessed with.
Yeah, no, I
Bruce Springsteen.
saw a
It
preview
looks
for that
pretty
way
good
back when.
actually.
Yeah.
It's based on someone's memoir, right? Like
I
a
think
true
so.
story or something.
Yeah, I do realize now which one "Racing in the Street" is. I was trying to remember what track it was. That's a great song though. There's a lot of that album in general is it's not my favorite of his, but it like there's something about it that definitely sticks with you. It's got a certain je ne sais quoi.
This is great because we're in December. Your birthday's in July. In that period of time, you have already started a pecking order of Bruce Springsteen albums.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've already rated them.
That's so good.
It totally fucked up my my Spotify list for 2019. It was definitely like mostly Bruce Springsteen and
That's
Smell.
awesome.
I just
big
read
two.
it. I just read an
Bruce
interview with
Smellstein.
Randy Newman where he's talking about this Bruce Springsteen effect where Bruce Springsteen has like all the fans that are also the same fans of Bon Jovi has.
Yeah.
But then he's got like everybody else who are like serious songwriters where they're like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to that's dumb. That's just like dad rock, American dad rock, whatever. And then they listen to an album or they go see him and they're like, no, guys, you don't understand. He's actually really good.
Yeah, don't let the dad rock songs fool you. He actually fucking knows his way around a fucking piano.
Yeah.
All I know about Randy Newman, outside of the songs I've heard, is that he's kind of bitter that Short People became a hit.
Yeah, that was the conceit of the interview I read. Also.
Yeah, all he was trying to do was just warn us about the dangers of short people. And
Yeah.
Nobody took him
and the fact
seriously.
that they are apparently, to him, second-class citizens.
yeah, and
Or, well, no, not really. He just says that they don't deserve to live.
what
yeah.
a kooky little song. Oh, that's fun. No, Randy, you have problems. You have hate in your heart. My MVP moment is it's going to be that main guitar riff in Left of the Dial, just that intro riff. It's just such a fucking good, solid 80s college rock, jangly riff. You know, right up there with like anything you'd hear from like The Cure or Husker Du or REM or just like any of those groups from that time period. Yeah, just fucking lovely shit. All right. I guess we're doing comparable albums now.
Sure. For me, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to go with Singles Going Steady by Buzzcocks, which it's technically a collection of singles, not an album per se, but it was the first album of theirs released in the States, so I think it gets a pass. It scratches the same itch as this album for me. Just like really good pop punk type alternative songs, using pop punk very carefully because I don't want to conjure any sort of parallels to Green Day or something like that.
But the energy and the aesthetic.
But
is
the
there.
energy and the aesthetic is exactly that. It's a pop punk record, and yeah, it's a great record. And Singles Going Steady is as well.
Yeah, lyrically too, I could see some connections to the sort of tongue-in-cheekness of it.
Yeah, they're both like a couple of smart ass bands.
Yeah,
which I
exactly.
think-
Smart alecky and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. What about you, Jim?
I'm gonna go with the album "Music from the Adventures of Pete and Pete" by Polaris.
I almost went with Miracle Legion, which is
Yeah, it's Mulcahy's original band there.
Fun fact: did you know that I have that on vinyl and that it is in our queue?
The music from The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Yep.
I saw
incredible.
that on the list. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, Scott Kerwin from Writer's Bagel Basket asked if he could guest on that when he found out that I had it. So
Fantastic. Tim.
So this might be kind of an easy, might be like too basic, but I thought of Boys and Girls in America by the Hold Steady. Hold Steady, for those of you not familiar, is a Minneapolis band that credits the Replacements with everything they do. So the comparable, what I am considering to be a comparable album might be, now that I've heard this album, the Hold Steady just ripped them off. Like it could be that I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because it has the same kind of, and it's not just a pure ripoff, but it has the same kind of rhythms. I think you mentioned, Patrick, at the beginning, or at least like from the Wikipedia article, that they started to kind of add in more influences into their songwriting style for this album, and that was kind of the same thing the Hold Steady did, where they started out as just a straight up rock and roll bar band, and then they started to add some more nuance to their songwriting. So like this one has Swingin' Party, Waitress in the Sky, Little Mascara. They aren't all straight, pedal to the metal rock songs front to back, and that's kind of the same transformation that Boys and Girls in America was for the Hold Steady. So that's what it brought up, conjured for me.
Very cool. Very cool. So I'm actually going to go with another Minneapolis band as well, Husker Du, and their album Flip Your Wig, which came out, I think, in 1986. But I mean, yeah, just they're a very kind of similar Minneapolis college rock outfit. And that record in particular was definitely a bigger push for Bob Mould into like poppier territory and kind of more poppier alt rock versus the noisier shit that they used to do. Yeah, and I would say like Flip Your Wig and the record that came out before it, New Day Rising, could be compared pretty well to the Let It Be and Tim dichotomy. So yeah, that was my pick. Oh, you, Christopher? Oh, wait, you already did one.
I already gave one. I mean, do you want me to go again?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do the entire podcast all over again.
I'm gonna go with Singles Going Steady by the Buzzcocks.
No, we're rating this fucker now. All right, what do you rate this?
9.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a 9. Could be a strong 9 with more listens. I don't know. When the vinyl arrives, I'll update you.
Sweet. Wow. Glad I could do that for you.
Yeah, no, this is the first. Keep use this as a lesson. Bring me more music that I will like.
Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast for a long time now, and this was very nice of you to do.
Yeah. I will keep showing you Yes and Steely Dan albums. I like other things too. I do like real people music too.
Music.
But no, in all seriousness, this was great. I like this a lot. So 9.
Cool. Jim.
Okay. No, it's not that bad. I was teetering between a hard 6 and a soft 7. I'm gonna go with the soft 7 because it wasn't that I didn't like this album. I just don't know it well enough. It was very new to me.
It's a rough thing to kind of take in the first time.
Yeah,
because of the production and the drunkenness of it.
Yeah, well, so that first song, "Hold My Life," I was like, oh, this song's great. Like, I'm gonna love this. And then it went into All By, and I was like, what is this crap? And then from that point on, it was like, all right, Kiss Me on the Bus. This is the surf rock boring song that I don't like. Then Dose of Thunder's the Motley Crue song. And I just felt like every song was just kind of like had that blatant influence from somebody else that was bothering me. And then we got the Swingin' Party, and I was like, all right, I like this again. And it kind of brought me back up. And like, yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty cool album, but I just need to give it. It needs to bake in the oven a little more.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah,
so
definitely.
I'll give it a soft 7.
The influences were very well worn on their sleeves on this record, I would say.
I said that Little Mascara reminded me of Sliver off of Incesticide.
Oh yeah, no, I could see that. Tim.
I actually think that what Jim said was almost 100% what like my review would have been like between a 6 and a 7. This this style of music isn't my go-to style. So it's like, I mean, I go out of my comfort zone, but it's something that I have to spend more time with before I'm really able to like appreciate it. The other thing, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is that listening to it for the first time, not having listened to the Replacements before, listening to this for the first time through a 2019 lens, it was harder for me to peel apart what this album originated and what it was doing that had already been done, because a lot of it sounded like things that had already been done or moments that could have already been done, but it also could have been the first one to do it and influenced a lot of the other things I listened to. So it's harder for me to gather that.
Right.
So for me, it's going to be a 6. I'm going to listen to Let It Be finally, and I'm going to come back to this and see if repeat listens probably bring that up once I understand it better.
Let It Be it's a great record. I would say I like it just about as much as this record. It's a little different, and I actually weirdly think there's like there's a little more variety on it in some spots. There's a couple kind of funky piano ballads on it that are
on this or Let It Be.
On Let It Be.
Okay,
that's kind of cool, and there are some like more raucous tracks, but there's definitely there's some cool moments on that record. I would definitely give that a spin too, and
doesn't Let
recommend
It
to you
Be have a
guys.
song named Timothy?
I think so.
Well, I'll take.
There's a song called "Gary's Got a Boner."
I know that. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that old chestnut. Gary's got a boner. I think he could be right though. I feel like that's something that would be. I'm not sure who even this record is named after, to be honest with you. There's no explanation of it on Wikipedia.
Tim Cook from Apple.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not Tim Horton.
No, not that Canadian donut asshole.
Hey.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
I was wrong. There's Tommy gets his tonsils out, but
Tommy gets his tonsils out, which I assume is about Tommy Stinson.
But no. Are you guys familiar with Hannah Gadsby? She's a stand-up comedian. She had a really popular Netflix special last year called Nanette.
No.
I just heard of Nanette yesterday because it was referenced on John Mulaney's new special.
Okay.
So that is the first time I've heard of it, but yes, I am familiar that it exists.
So Hannah Gadsby, she named her first stand-up special after an ex named Nanette. The stand-up special had nothing to do with that. Her second special was Douglas, named after her dog. And she said, I just name my specials like I would name a child or whatever. Like, they don't have anything thematically to do with what I'm doing. I just had to give it a name as if you're naming a thing.
Right.
And that was what I thought that this album was. They're just like, we gotta name it. And rather than naming it like a work of art, they named it like a newborn. Or they're just like,
There are some who call me Tim. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's historically, I think, a pretty damn important record, and it's one that, like I said, it's not something that I would stylistically associate with myself, but it's because of that, because it kind of I could still kind of pick some things out that like really stuck with me. I think that's definitely like a really cool thing. I think it's a record that influenced a lot of alternative rock. In the 90s especially. They weren't very commercially successful, but their influence definitely has a lot of longevity to it. And it's a nice brisk record, just good fucking solid pop punk record for sure. Cool. We did it, guys. That is the Replacements by Tim. I mean Tim by the Replacements. Thanks for tuning in.
I mean, technically, we would have both here.
I should write an album called The Replacements.
Dude, you have to now. That's really good.
Oh, that's very good.
Only if your solo project is just called Tim.
It would have to be. It would have to be for that explicit purpose.
Yes.
Awesome.
Could you have 11 tracks on it all with the same titles?
Yeah, just nothing. Same theory as the name of this album. Nothing to do with anything. Maybe I'll occasionally like throw in a different thing. Like on my song called "Lay It Down, Clown," I'll be talking about kissing me on the bus. Maybe I'll just do that.
Oh, wow, that's great. See, I thought you were gonna like do the story of that thing about your dad, like telling you to go tell the bully to just lay it down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, you can get autobiographical with this one.
Yeah, I could definitely like go super like literal with the song titles.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Like
I think that's really the best
Hold
way
My
to do it.
Life could be like about the guy from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom that like rips out people's hearts.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Bastards of Young can be.
Do you have any friends with shitty kids?
Yeah, or no, like
Yeah, I do, actually.
like the illegitimate children of the founder of the Mormon Church. Brigham
there you
Young,
go.
Right?
Yep.
It could just be about that. Just it could be like a historical album.
Did Coke dealer George Young have any illegitimate children? Because it could be about
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Bastards of
he's
Young.
Jung.
Right, but
So you
Could change that.
yeah, or Carl Young for that.
or Carl Young,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, someone's got-
those guys been throwing their dicks into the wind for too long. Getting their seed everywhere. Whew. All right. Well, that was a podcast. Tim, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This
Yeah,
is
thanks
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Got any Only Humans gigs or anything else you want to plug going on?
Yeah, I've got a couple. We've got a couple in February. One's a So Far Sounds thing, so I don't know if anyone. I don't know how those get access. Those are things where you just show up to warehouses and you're playing. But we're playing at the Worthen Attic, I believe, on in Lowell. Worthen Attic in Lowell. I believe on February 7th. I might be wrong about that date, but it's going to be on our Facebook and Instagram.
So
and everything.
that So Far thing, how did you get involved with that? Like, how do you become an artist on that?
I'm friends with a bunch of folk singers who also have done it. So like, I just kind of like.
You get a smell show going on.
That would be awesome. They take all kind they don't have any kind of like restrictions. Obviously, it's kind of got the sort of like singer songwriter with an acoustic guitar vibe. But I've done a few and there's no like actual restrictions. I think it's just because those lonely types of people just glom together, and I just glom onto them, and I'm like, hey guys, get me into that warehouse with those quaint. Christmas lights in July. That's
Warehouse gigs are probably the most fun that I've ever
oh
done.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
seriously.
That sounds like a real hoot.
Yeah, like sound is always terrible. The people there are probably too drunk, and everyone just has a fucking great time.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Very
so good.
reflective rooms.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I have anything going on. I'm kind of just gearing up to write a bunch of shit. Got Bears for Years I want to start writing some shit for, and possibly some other things happening in February that I'll just keep under wraps right now. Christopher, you got anything going on?
Tinkering around with some new difference engine stuff. Nothing really concrete there, but lots.
Starting that engine back up.
Starting that engine back up. A lot of stuff just kind of floating around. And I'm doing some overdubs and finishing up a couple tracks for Fifth Business, which is cool. And that Down City Armory album I mixed will be released someday. I don't know when.
Come on, Todd.
Come on, Todd. But yeah, other than that, we just got a puppy, so my free time is pretty limited.
Yeah, you got to plug your puppy.
Yeah, I got a dog. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see pictures of the dog. And if you don't know me, then I'm not going to give you my information, and you don't get to see pictures of the dog.
Harsh words. Harsh words.
Harsh but fair.
Harsh but fair. Jim?
Building the studio. Just got 2,200 pounds of mass-loaded vinyl delivered to my driveway.
I saw that.
150 pounds of roll. I dropped one on my foot.
Was it the goat foot?
No, it was the other foot. This has been
The
the year of
broken
the
toenail foot?
This has been the year of. No, I think that was the same foot as the goat foot. This has just been the year of the foot for me. I'm ready. My New Year's resolution is to be better to my feet. So doing that. Check out my blog, buildingahomestudio.wordpress.com. Also, I started a new Twitter account because I never used Twitter, and I think it's just something I don't do. So I started a Twitter handle. It's called Do You Like This? You can follow it at Do You Like This 4, and I just post a random shit and ask if you like it.
So wait, okay? So it's a question like, do you like this?
Yeah,
Not
I'll
like,
post something stupid and I'll go, "Do you like this?" Question mark.
Yeah, there's like a picture of like a door handle one day or something like that.
I saw the stink bug was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Those fuckers are they're all fucking coming inside right now. The stink bugs.
Yeah.
It's awful. I saw one the other day and it was flying around and it like flew into one of those light bulbs and fucking burned it and just like dropped to the ground.
Nice.
Oh.
So we were cleaning up for the Christmas party a couple weeks ago, and Emily was vacuuming upstairs, and she was in the bathroom upstairs, and she comes running down. She's like, "There's a stink bug in the bathroom. Can you go deal with it?" And I walk in. I was like, "Oh, he's dead." She's like, "How do you know?" I was like, "Because I took a shower up there the other day, and he was still in there." She's like, "Why didn't you get him?" I was like, "I don't know. He's keeping me company."
Fine, but he's not doing anything. Just
Do
hanging out.
you guys have issues with ladybugs?
Yep.
Oh, you do?
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
know, but
Okay.
I
Yeah, 'cause-
have, not recently.
Yeah, that's been my big
I have
thing
before
this
though,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, sometimes you'll just get a fucking huge collection of them, and
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
not
get
really
one.
worse.
You get one or the other. I've never seen a mix. Sometimes I've seen a year of stink bugs. Sometimes I've had a year of ladybugs, but they never commingle. They never show up together. They're always.
It's like a
they're,
turf war.
they're natural.
yeah, it's a turf war. Yeah,
Natural
it's like we
predators.
got it this year,
Yeah.
guys. Find somewhere else.
Squatters' rights.
Christ. Well, thank you for tuning into Old Men Yell at Cloud. Check out the other fine shows on the Zero Science Network, like Jukebox Zeros, Clamshell Case Files.
Yeah, and we got a new season of Discography Deep Dive coming at you
yeah.
in January. Wills is doing a deep dive into Sparks, which should be really fun.
Yeah, that'll be really fun because I bet not a lot of people on in the States here know a ton about this band. So
I don't, so I'm looking forward to this.
yeah, and they have a very, very, very thick discography going back to like the 70s, and they're still putting out records today, which is pretty cool. So check out those other shows, and in the meantime, we're gonna say goodnight, and thanks for tuning in. This is Patrick.
I'm Christopher.
I'm Jim, and we'll see you in hell along with Rivers Cuomo.
Good night.
Ain't much to break anyway in the fall.
Neuroscience.
Now available in podcast feeds. Don't miss your chance to join three friends as they unpack movies from their childhood.
I'm just gonna watch you die.
What was this film rated again? PG.
And decide just how traumatic they were.
That is how long they're stabbing him.
I giggled through that scene because it was so uncomfortable and weird.
In Clamshell Case Files, starring the bad boy of podcasting, Quentin.
I mean, if my dog killed another dog, I would protect him by burying that body, but I would never kill the dog myself.
Girl Friday, Bridget.
I just want to apologize to Samantha Mathis that I have been maligning her breasts for decades.
And America's sweetheart, Matt.
Where a giant toy elephant is blowing snow out of its hooter nose thingy.
Trunk.
All over